February is leaving us and we are going into March. Hopefully, this March is way better than the last, and if not, hopefully, these games can get us through it. What's up? I'm Cosmic, and today on Panther Band Gaming, top 7 new games, March 2021. Let's go. First new game we're going to talk about is The Ascent. Now, this is an Xbox exclusive, but it is a cool looking game, especially if you like top-down RPGs. It seems to be something like a cyberpunk version of Diablo. The story hasn't been fully explained, but the Ascent group is some type of company that has built a city of workers. In the trailer, someone describes them as slaves, and I would say that's a very accurate reading, considering that you have to basically sell yourself to this group to even come into the city to work. But the game takes place just as the Ascent group collapses and confusion and chaos ensues. Everybody is in disarray without protection. Your job is to stop gangs and hostile corporations from taking over and discover what really happened, which sounds pretty cool. This game is very beautiful. It is very detailed. It is a very detailed cyberpunk world with neon signs everywhere. It is local and online co-op going up to 4 players. There are shooter-looter aspects of the game, even though that's not the core of the game. You can also customize your characters with new cyberware and abilities. It seems that your choices will be taken into consideration since you can make allies and enemies from the slums all the way up to the higher luxury spheres. The exact date of when this game comes out is not known yet, but it is in March, so be looking out for a launch trailer to get the release date. Our next game is actually a sequel to the very popular Vampire the Masquerade. It is an RPG made by Hardsuit Labs, who are beginning to make a name for themselves. The game takes place in the world of darkness where vampires, werewolves, demons, and other creatures shape human history. The story takes place in Seattle during the holiday season. It is about a human who is killed and revived as a thin blood vampire with relatively weak abilities during what is called a mass embrace. And the mass embrace is described as an incident where rogue vampires publicly attacked humans, breaking the masquerade and causing discord between the city's vampire groups. So with all the chaos and confusion, it will be up to you to get stronger and make big decisions, like choosing which vampire clan to join and which vampiric abilities you get, such as gliding and summoning bats, levitating objects and people, or even concealing yourself in mist or turning into the mist itself, which seems pretty dope. And I know a lot of people who are excited for this game, so check it out if you're into RPGs and or vampires. If you loved Nights into Dreams, or if you're old enough to even know what that is, you will love this game. The creator of Nights into Dreams and Sonic the Hedgehog, Yuji Naka and Naoto Oshima, are actually the ones in charge of this game. That's why it looks so similar to Nights into Dreams. This is a 3D action platformer with musical flair as described by the creators. The story follows 2 characters, Leo Craig and Emma Cole, as they follow the maestro Balin of Balan through a magical and music-filled place called Wonderworld. It's said that people come here when they reach a turning point in their life. This game is very on the nose. It is more like the classic mascot platformers without so much of the challenge and more so exploration. It's a spectacle, but it isn't super detailed in graphics. Despite that, this will sell a lot simply because of the fans of Nights into Dreams. Gameplay wise, you will explore the world and find over 80 different suits that have different powers and abilities. And as you see, it does look kind of fun. And I think it's also a perfect game to get your kids as well, or even play with your kids if you have any. The next game is easily the best looking game on the Nintendo Switch when it comes to visuals, and the mechanics are great as well. Monster Hunter Rise will be the latest game in the series. It is more welcoming than the other games if you've been overwhelmed by any of the past releases. They seem to have kept the gameplay in mind for Switch owners. This will probably be the most fluid, mobility-wise, out of all the other Monster Hunter games. Even though you could usually get through the world at a good pace, now you can get through the world vertically and even go through the trees to get around and fight. And I'm being serious when I say vertical. You can literally run up a wall if you want. The lands are more ninja inspired, and it has been 50 years since the last Calamity. Truly, it is just another Monster Hunter game, but it is an ironed out experience and should be very approachable to new players, especially players who like ninja games and players who just like high action platformers. You'll love this game. The next game is actually a remake of one of my favorite classic games from when I was a kid, Prince of Persia. And no, I'm not old enough to have played the original. That was like super pixelated, but I did have the PS2 version, the version that made the series get super popular in the early 2000s. We're not going to talk about how the series has completely fallen off cinematically and game wise. We're just going to hope that this can hold up. It doesn't look all that great, but the company who remade it is not at fault. This is actually their first big project, even though Ubisoft owns this title. For some reason, they thought they should be experimental and choose a less established developer. I don't know. Yes, the game looks way better than the original, but no, it doesn't look on par with anything coming out today. Considering how big Prince of Persia was when it was initially released, it doesn't really compare. And there are so many fans of the original, if not any other game in the series, that have been asking for a fresh remake of this classic. Feedback wasn't great when they first showed the trailer. And in turn, they delayed it to March 18th to polish it some more. But if you don't know what Prince of Persia is, it is about a prince who, through a series of unfortunate events, ends up getting a hold of a dagger that can reverse time. And this plays out in gameplay mechanics as well. Not to mention, it is an excellent platformer and an excellent action adventure game. It's no walk in the park either. It can be very challenging at times. The simplicity of the game hides how challenging it is. You might question how hard could it be since you can literally reverse time. But even though you can mess with time and even reverse your death, there's a limited amount of the sands of time. So saving is a must. If you've never played it, I would recommend this. I think I might wait to see if they can update it a little more. They haven't shown us anything since they first showed us the trailer in September, but we shall see if they make it live up to the name. The new game that has been getting people excited because it is an experience that seems to have no match. It is called It Takes Two. And it is about a married couple who is in the process of getting a divorce but are somehow magically turned into the dolls that their daughter made of them. So they're shrunken down, and it will take the both of them to get through this imagination-inspired environment, which is literally just a world but altered. For example, there's a scene where the squirrels are going to war with the bees that have infested their trees. And you actually can help this play out in a bunch of different ways. The gameplay seems to be very unique and reminiscent of Balan Wonderworld, where you get different abilities throughout the game, but with way more detail and specifics. The world is magical and practical at the same time, giving it a very unique look. And the banter between the couples trying to just make it is hilarious as they go through the trials and tribulations of couple therapy inspired themes. The ultimate plot of the game hasn't been revealed, but basically it is a perfect game for couples, friends, and people who enjoy lighthearted games, or even people who enjoy high-action platformers. It is a very fun co-op experience that should be very impressionable. Hopefully it lives up to the hype. The last game on this list is Kena Bridge of Spirits. It is a PlayStation 5 exclusive, but if they manage to actually get this game released this month, which it has already been delayed from the initial holiday release, they can get it done this month. This will easily be the biggest game of March. This will easily be the biggest game of March 2021. And this will be the next spectacle for the next gen experience. It is an action adventure game. It is not an RPG, but the world seems to be very magical and mystical. It looks a lot like a Pixar film, even in gameplay, which is amazing. And you play as Kena, a spirit guide with magical abilities. You'll be able to upgrade her abilities and find small but super cute spirit companions called the Rot. And they can be directed to complete tasks, move objects, take certain shapes, or even distracting enemies. Kena, as a spirit guide in this world where spirits can be stuck if they are traumatized or feel unfinished, helps these spirits move on. She also has a scar on her hand that goes all the way up to her shoulder, which represents some traumatic experience of her own that deals with her father. That will be explored in the game as well. There's other characters, but not much is known about them or the game, to be honest, but it should make a big splash even if it gets delayed again. Those are the biggest games coming out next month. Did any excite you? Have you already pre-ordered any? Are you also hoping that Kena actually releases in March? Because I'm really hoping that it doesn't get delayed again. But let me know in the comments. I'm Cosmic. This is Panther Band Gaming. You've been great and stay creative. Peace.